Hello, everybody, and welcome into Lightning Round.
No, it's Greg Zerline.
No, oh,
I don't even know these people.
You have my solemn vow we are done at wide receiver.
Pemba said fold.
Till the next round.
This is sitting on top of my Scott Fishbowl trophy.
I have a cup for Cooper Cup, I guess.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Lightning Round. I'm Kevin Tompkins, of course, with Brett Flynn, with Andrew Cooper. Gary, we miss you. You are not here, but we do have New York Yankees pitcher, coffee aficionado, DFS money taker from me, Jameson Taillon. JMO, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. I like the intro. Definitely accurate on the coffee. I don't know about the DFS money grabber, but I'll take it. I spend a lot of time. That's like my weekly thing during football season. I just love texting my buddies and setting my lineup and tinkering all week and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it was just awesome this has been almost 2 years in the making because we got together on Hayden Hurst. I believe that's your brother-in-law, correct?
So my brother-in-law, his name is actually Brooks Reed. He played in the NFL.
Or Brooks Reed, okay.
And then Hurst, I actually played baseball with him with Pittsburgh. So I remember I was rehabbing an elbow injury, and Hurst was kind of having a hard time, and he was thinking about quitting. And I remember him telling me, he's like, man, I think I could go play like major college football if, I train hard. Like I was pretty good in high school. And I remember thinking, he's got the physical tools, and then this dude ends up going to South Carolina and becoming a first-round draft pick, and now he's in the NFL. So he was true to his word. He went and played major college football, and now he's in the NFL, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, South Carolina football's no joke.
Yeah, he literally quit and then was in fall practices for South Carolina like a couple weeks later. It was wild.
That's so crazy. Our Arkansas pitcher, Connor Nolan, did the opposite. He played football for Arkansas, and now he's a starting pitcher for the Razorbacks. So that's kind of interesting, that intertwined situation.
I'm just a one-sport guy,
Well, yeah, man, I'm just so happy to have you on, man. And we're going to get into some fantasy. Is this the earliest draft that you have ever done for fantasy football?
Yeah, I think the second earliest draft probably would have been like mid-August. So we're by months here. We're 5 months ahead.
Light years. We're light years ahead right now. Yeah, but this is the best time, man. This is where you can sneak in there. I mean, this will be my fifth draft this year. But,
holy cow! I didn't even know that was a thing. If I'm being honest, I didn't know doing drafts this early was a thing, but I'm excited.
It's not a thing, man. We're super weird about this stuff. But that's football, though.
Yeah, we are absolute degenerates here. I sent you that link, JMO, for the draft. Once you get in, we are off and running.
Cool. Let me find it. Did you text it to me, or is it on Twitter?
I put it on Twitter for you. It's in the group DM that we got. So while you're doing that, I will ask you, how's the ankle feeling?
It's okay.
You had surgery.
Yeah, that was I don't see the link in my Twitter, by the way, but the ankle's okay. I had surgery back in October. It's one of those like freak injuries. I've had plenty of injuries throughout my career, and this was one where I feel like I did everything in my power to stay healthy, and then just like a freak ankle injury that I felt like I really had no control over. Oh, there we go. I just got it. But the rehab's going well. Definitely having this whole lockout situation has been a little weird. I can't really communicate to like my team medical staff. But I'm feeling good. I feel like I'm ahead of schedule since the team can't set my schedule really right now. I'm kind of just going as I feel and I go along. So yeah, I'm feeling good. It's got me out of a lot of running that I'd normally be doing in the off season. I don't have to really do much of that since I'm rehabbing. So that's been one plus.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, ankle injuries are good for that.
Yeah, I know. At least it was a lower body injury this time. I know you obviously had
stay away a couple from the elbows from here on out.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I wanted to ask you a quick question before we get in this. So I know that you play in a league with a bunch of the Yankees guys, right?
Yes.
So of those dudes, which one of those guys is actually, because we know you're, a fantasy guru, right? You're playing golf, you're playing football. Yeah. But hey, of those other guys, like who in the draft is also good? Like when you get the draft order, who are you like, I got to watch out for this guy. He might be taking my guys.
I got to be honest, our team was like super into it this year. There was no one in our league where I was like, I want to go try to trade with this guy, or like everyone knew what they were doing. Everyone had their own rankings. Everyone showed up to the draft with like notepads. Everyone stayed like sober for the draft, so they were making proper decisions. I think, at the end of the year, I think Chad Green, one of our relievers, ended up doing really well. I think Aaron Judge did really well. And with our league, there's only 12 spots, so it's like pretty competitive to get a team. So a lot of guys share with like clubhouse managers or like analytics workers in our staff. So a lot of it comes down to who you partner up with. So like Judge had one of our clubhouse managers on his team, and they did a really nice job. So it kind of comes down to like who guys were partnered with too. That definitely helped.
Judge is bringing in those sabermetrics guys then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I see. All right.
And I was on the horn with JMO during that draft, and I did what I could, man. I tried to steer you away from the running backs.
We just got the injury bug, and that happens. What are you going to do? That's why I like daily. That's why I like DFS stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely.
Trying to log in on that link.
It always seems though when I play somebody on DFS that they get hurt too.
That happens. That I did some DFS like playoff stuff this year, and I swear back-to-back weeks I had like a wide receiver or running back go down on the first drive. I was like, well,
yep.
The next week.
That's our number one complaint over at Fantasy Alarm. Like both these guys work for us now. Like Howard Bender, he'll put together this playbook that's so comprehensive, and he'll make a lineup out of it. And then one of our users will make lineups, and then somebody's like, I won $1 million. And Howard's like, what did I won like $10 this week? That's the way he goes with DFS, man.
I played baseball with a guy back in the day, like before I even knew what DFS was. This guy's name was Colin Ballister. We were rehabbing together. Seems to be a theme, me rehabbing with guys. But we're down in Florida, and I remember it was like a Monday. He's like, and I've got like a kicker and defense going tonight, and if these guys go off, like I've got a chance at winning big money. And I swear the kicker and defense combined for like 45 points, and this dude ended up winning like $120,000. I was watching the game, like rooting for him hard.
Oh, that's the best though. When you were like that last game, the Monday game. Oh, that's
man. I remember that didn't he play for Washington at one time too?
Yes. Yeah, he did.
Yep.
So him and Jordan Zimmerman won it together. They like shared an account. Jordan Zimmerman did really well in his career, making nice salaries.
Yeah.
And he let this guy keep all of it. So
that's awesome.
All right. I'm working through some technical stuff here. I have to allow Underdog permission. So I'm trying to figure out.
You have to give up the deed to your house, all the
you're allowed to play, and I know you're down in Tampa, then you're going to be in Houston. You're allowed to play in the state you're in right now, right? Like we've vetted that already. Okay.
I just need to find where my location is. This is a new iPad.
It's all good, brother. All good. Yeah, I have that. I'll pull that up in a little bit too. I have that draft board for when we drafted in August too. So that'll be.
We did I had Kyler Murray, Saquon, Darrell Henderson, DeAndre Hopkins, CeeDee Lamb. Like it was a pretty solid team. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, Hopkins and Saquon hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
And honestly, even Lamb was streaky.
Lamb was extremely streaky. He was.
Yeah. It's what happens when you're on a Cowboys team that it just doesn't commit to you fully. Dude. At least just getting them out there to run routes.
All right.
Yeah, listening to Troy Aikman and hearing him like in that Cowboys 49ers playoff game, and saying, if I was the quarterback, I would have already thrown him 15 targets and da-da-da-da-da. It just hurts.
Gary in the chat, Underdog needs permission. Do you know who I am?
I just got a text from one of my buddies watching the stream. All back home Red Sox fans. They said if this was Xander Bogaerts, we'd be in the 3rd round by now. How do you feel about that?
Getting roasted. I'm literally Googling how to turn location on my iPad right now, guys.
No.
It's a new iPad. I'm struggling, but
yeah, if you go down to settings and then just scroll down, just go to the main settings screen, scroll down to the Underdog app, then you can turn it on from right there. Like it'll have all the apps listed in a row.
Beautiful.
The great thing about this video, I will make sure I clip it. This will be a tutorial on how to turn on location services on Apple products. So
an informational one. We probably get more hits on that YouTube video.
We will get 200,000 views just on that 1 minute clip.
The video that he was looking for, how to turn on location services with Jameson Taillon. Like that would probably get us a lot more clips than just our normal draft. But did you find it?
I did, but the problem is when I click that link in Twitter, it doesn't go to the app. It just goes to the website. So
really,
first world problems.
Yeah, I have the app pulled up if I could figure out.
Is there a there's a way to put it in by code, maybe?
I'm zero help. I have an Android, so
Maybe Could you maybe text it to me? Is that an option?
Yeah, let me.
Maybe from there it would take me to the app.
So when it opens the screen, can you pull down on the screen and then at the top it'll say open in the app? That works sometimes in Safari there.
Let's see.
All right. I just sent you a text.
Got it.
All right, here we go. Hopefully, the most riveting.
Yeah, there we go. The text works.
The most riveting 12 minutes.
I'm ready to roll. Man. This is the first.
Yep.
The average draft positions and stuff projected for this upcoming year. So I'm just processing this as we go.
While everyone's waiting, I'll just focus in on this picture of Pedro Martinez I have here for everyone to enjoy.
He was one of my favorites to watch as a kid. So you're not going to rattle me with this Red Sox stuff. I mean,
I know you already complimented the city, man. And the thing about it is that my favorite fans, in reality, my favorite fans are Yankees fans that are good natured, and my least favorite fans are Red Sox fans that make us look terrible. You know what I mean?
I think everybody has the good and the bad, though. So
right. It's just but there's nothing better, even better than talking with another Red Sox fan is talking with a Yankees fan who knows what's going on and is respectful about the game and can have a good time with it. You know what I mean? There's nothing better than a good natured rivalry as opposed to people being jerks or this or that. So that's why I try and bring the good natured if I can.
I feel that.
That's what it's all about. All right. So we got the draft board up here now, so we should be good. So I've got, let's see, 103. I don't know if I'm not taking Cooper Kupp here. I mean, what are the odds that Cooper Kupp had his best season he'll ever have in his career? 97%?
I mean, it's pretty good. The thing is, he could be the wide receiver 1 again and still not have as good of a season. So, I mean,
right.
It's just tough with wide receivers.
What's Matt Stafford's contract status? He's back again. Is that?
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
I think part of that. Not only is he back, but I think part of the whole trade and why 2 first-round picks went is that the Lions kept some of that dead money, which made it easier for them to kind of do what they're doing. So, Javonte Williams. Early.
Yeah, that's my husband. He's a butthole.
I mean, did you see the Melvin? Just remind them that
I did.
they like Melvin Gordon over there. They certainly do. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take. Give me pass catching running backs here. That's what I like.
Eckler.
So,
Ooh,
JMO, anything,
somebody's-
compared to last year, anything jumping out at you as far as like, because I know you can see like the ADP and stuff, like just anything jumping out at you?
I think some of the young guys that were like high upside guys from last year, I'm seeing a lot higher in the rankings. So, I mean, just looking at the board right now, seeing Jamar Chase up that high, Najee Harris. I think some of those guys that guys were targeting a little later in drafts now, you're not going to get that steal, and it's time to like start focusing on who the next steals can be and the next young guys who are going to break out.
Oh, I just got sniped. All right, I'll take Jamar.
I think that's pretty safe, man. The thing about Jamar is that he wasn't your classic rookie because he played with his quarterback for however many years, or 3 years. It's like that the timing routes and everything, like you don't have to develop that. It's just ready to rock and roll, So we probably all should have seen that coming, but we didn't quite.
Well, we all bought into that. Like he can't see the ball because it doesn't have stripes on it and all that thing.
Those comments were a little ridiculous by him.
The whole Jack White wipe stripes thing.
I'm just
Right.
making an easy decision here. I don't even know who's quarterback.
Gotta go with it.
Doesn't matter. That's what
I've been looking at that situation, and it looks very likely that both Adams and Rodgers can be back. I mean, the cap is kind of it. You can work your way around it, and there's plenty to be done there in terms of restructures. They can let either one or both of Preston and Zachariah Smith go. I mean, I'm with you on Adams. Adams is probably going to be my wide receiver one.
He's a stud.
I mean, I'm looking at like the running backs and, not being a noted running back guy, like Derrick Henry at 102 seems pretty spicy there, not going to lie. I think I would probably have of those running backs. I think I'd put Najee Harris as the first back after Taylor and McCaffrey. I like him ahead of Eckler, I think.
I mean,
I think I have Harris over.
This is half PPR, so I could see that. It's just
good.
I just look at the high-powered offense in San Diego, and like running backs, touchdowns change everything for them. So that's my thought process. But I could see Najee too. I mean, the workload's there.
Yeah. Hey, Adams Mixon. I mean, can't beat that.
Yeah.
Just solid. He's gonna get his touches in the end zone with that.
I'm a big Mixon fan, so
He finally had his year. Everybody's been hurt by him. And this last season, it was like, hey, Mixon's finally going to get this workload. And
I mean, it's no luck they bring Pirine back either. So, I mean, that could only just help him.
This has the chance to be the first draft in like 3 or 4 years that I'm not taking Saquon Barkley. I've been trying to like time up his huge breakout, and I just haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah. I'm still
you might have a shot at him in the third.
Don't tempt me with a good time. I mean,
I know. See, dude, he had 2,000 yards. And people say he only had the rookie year, but the second year he had 1,400 yards too. You know what I mean? It's like, and he got hurt.
Healthy. He's a beast. Even when their line isn't very good, he's still pretty good.
Yeah. And they might switch. They might move off of Daniel Jones somehow. I mean. Brian Dable has that, connection with Mitch Trubisky. That's something that's getting floated around there. I mean, was Trubisky really a casualty of Matt Nagy? Could he be a Tannehill guy coming back on his second team? I mean, the Giants have pieces there. It's just they just need to come together.
Here's a pick, guys. I'm making a pick right now. I actually wrote an article last year why I didn't like this player. Now I'm making this pick right here. How do you feel about this? I wrote a full 2,000-word article on why not to draft Swift last year, and now I'm like, second round Swift, I'm on board. How do you guys feel about it?
Detroit running backs have made me nervous for a while. Like I usually stay away because I've been burned in the past by guys, but I mean, he's a stud. He passes the eye test. Like when I watch him play, he passes the eye test.
Yeah. For me, I was really concerned that they were going to. I mean, they set up the team to lose on purpose, and they did. They lost. They only won 3 games, but like I thought they were going to split the work between him, Jamal Williams, other guys, try and keep the workload off him, and they didn't. They basically ran him to the ground. So if Dan Campbell is willing to give him that many touches, give him the ball that many times, I'm all for it. Now I'm in. Last year I didn't think they'd do it because I thought it was a dumb idea. I still think it's a dumb idea, but this year, if he's going to do it, I'm in.
Well, and Frank Ragnow should be back from IR from his toe injury too. So that beefs up that O-line and kind of gives him a little more protection on that front as well.
Great offensive line. Taylor Decker, Penei Sewell, like the whole line is excellent. TJ Hawkinson's a good blocker. Like, it's just a matter of quarterback play. We'll see.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I'll be interested to see how high Amon-Ra St. Brown goes. Brett will probably take him on the wrap here.
You hush it. You hush it.
I put him on the banner for a reason, Brett.
I can fangirl without being illogical.
We gonna see.
Oh my God, y'all. Well, I'm taking Treylon Burks as soon as I can. Sorry to show my cards to the table with everyone, but
Kev, yeah, because she's an Arkansas fan, so there you go. Kev with AJ Brown, the least surprising pick of this round, huh?
Ish.
Higgins, draft boards.
You know what? Why not?
Ooh, spicy.
Mark Andrews there as the third tight end. I think that's pretty good value.
I like it.
What's Lamar Jackson's contract status? He's locked up long term, or he'll definitely be back next year.
He's gonna get paid. That dude's gonna get a bag.
Yeah, he's actually waiting to get paid like he's supposed to, unlike Kyler Murray right now. So I think he's on his 5th year, right? 5th year of his deal.
Yep.
They got to get that figured out. I think the Ravens have always been a good team in terms of that. So I think he's gonna be just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Good friend Brian Drake in here in the draft. 2 top 6 wide receivers, Debo and Tyreek Hill. That's a pretty good turn, if you ask me.
And I've just got to say too, y'all know that I draft heavy running back early, and it has just not fallen that way in this draft so far. So I'm a teensy tiny bit nervous, but
you'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Gotta adjust. Hashtag.
Oh, Kevin.
So, JMO, did you play football growing up at all, or just a fan of the game?
So I didn't really play football. I played a lot of street football and stuff, but I remember in 7th grade I was going to play, and I had a cyst in my hand removed right on the day of tryouts, so I didn't end up trying out. And then going into 9th grade, our high school quarterback coach or offensive coordinator was like, "Hey kid, I heard you got a big arm, come out for the football team. I'll take you under my wing. I'll develop you." And then he was a baseball fan, and he came and saw me throw in just a scrimmage at our high school. And I was 14 years old throwing 85 miles an hour. He comes up to me and he goes, "If I ever see you near a football field, I will beat you. You stay on that baseball field. You keep that arm healthy. I will not let you near a football field." So I guess I'm grateful for him to not allow me to play football looking back.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way. I think it worked out okay. What do you think?
Yeah, worked out. But I love throwing a football. I guess I've just always loved throwing stuff, period. So football, baseball, wiffle ball, tennis ball, it doesn't matter.
I'm there with you, man. I was quarterback, played catcher, threw the javelin. It's I'll never turn down a contest of who can throw it farther. I think, last time we were on the golf course in September, we hit one on a par 3 and see who could throw it closest to the hole. That's kind of the way. That's kind of the way me and my idiot buddies do it.
Something I would do.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I played baseball till I broke my collarbone playing catcher, and then so much for that. There goes all my arm strength.
They've changed some of the catcher rules. They protect the catchers a little better now.
Yeah, this was also in 2001, 2. So they didn't give a shit then.
Well, I just spent the day at the river throwing sticks for the dogs. So does that count as throwing stuff? Other than that, I haven't thrown anything in my life.
How's your arm feel? You need the ice bath or?
No, I took the nap. It was good.
There you go. rejuvenation.
Yeah.
Can I just say Brian Drake going 4 wide receivers to start the draft is something I never thought I'd ever see in my life.
How proud are you? How proud are you?
JMO, that August draft, that's your future.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones, man.
The 112 spot right there.
Just dominate the wide receiver position. I'm gonna go heavy on the Green Bay offense with Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Aaron Jones going in the 4th, like there are some obvious misprices to me, at least in
know.
early ADP, and I think Aaron Jones is definitely one of them, especially if Rodgers is back.
The moment that they tag Adams and Rodgers agrees to a deal, like that's gonna shoot way up. Because I mean, this guy scored 30 touchdowns in 30 games with Jamal Williams splitting, taking 40% of the snaps. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
that's a stat. That's a strong stat.
Yeah. Is that good? You think is that good? 30 for 30. ESPN 30 for 30.
It's good. It's good in some instances. Maybe not so much if you're like SMU Mustangs.
Yeah,
it's
right.
not the Jameis Winston 30 touchdowns to 30 interceptions, but it's still a 30 for 30.
If you're Adam Thielen, they hold it against you. Too many touchdowns. Adam Thielen prophecy there. He couldn't do it again.
By the way, an underlying storyline here is Britt sniping JMO on Saquon Barkley 2 picks before he was up.
This would be my first team without Saquon in a long time. Seriously.
She actually texted me when she did that, and she said, "Yankees suck. Yankees suck."
That is patently false.
I just feel like with Saquon, like I don't know. I'm in too deep at this point. That's why I keep taking him. Like it's gonna pay off 1 year, and I don't want to miss out on him after like taking a gamble on him for so many years. So
you're pot committed. That's classic. Yeah. That's classic poker, man. You got too many chips in there.
All right, let's see what's staring me at the face here.
Take another tight end, Kev.
No, I'm actually gonna stack it up a little bit.
Look at you, fancy boy.
Yeah,
I like that.
Not too shabby. It's a little early for Lamar. I mean, it's early compared to ADP, I suppose, but I don't. I like getting a stack, at least Andrews to Jackson. I think they'll continue to throw more than certainly more than 2 years ago. So,
that's another one. Last 3 years, no one has more end zone targets among tight ends than Mark Andrews. Not Travis Kelce, not Darren Waller, not anybody. Yep. Mark Andrews in the end zone.
What is pocket sand?
That's from our other podcast. Whenever I would pull out stats, Linda would be like, from King of the Hill, she'd go pocket sand. So
oh my God.
Pocket sand just means statistic.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
All right. So, JMO, I will ask you. So, I know obviously you started your career in Pittsburgh and now you're in New York. So, you've been to obviously most, if not all, the NL parks, now that you've taken a season with the Yankees. So, now that you're getting used to these AL parks, like what's your favorite park to pitch in? Like besides like PNC and Yankee Stadium?
Okay, good question. I actually recently checked off all 30 stadiums. So I've, as a player, played in or been to all 30. I think Anaheim was my last one. I have like a soft spot for places I actually do well at. So like a lot of people love Dodger Stadium or whatever because of the atmosphere. But like if I get rocked somewhere, like I just have a bad feeling about it. So like I've never pitched well in Philadelphia. Like I have had 2 starts there. They were both absolutely terrible. So that can't be my answer. So I like St. Louis a lot. I always do pretty well there. The fans are great. They pack it in. Their teams are super competitive. AL parks, like somewhere new this year that maybe I wasn't expecting to really like. You know what? I'll say like Minnesota. That's a sleeper stadium. It's a beautiful ballpark. They get solid fans. I was surprised there, and in the summer the weather's really, really nice. I like Milwaukee a lot. That's a really random one that like I don't think many other players say.
Oh, I've heard that stadium's actually pretty cool.
It's cool. Like as a player, I put in like I make my decision off like what kind of coffee does the town have? How far is the airport from the hotel? How are the hotel beds? Milwaukee, like it's a retractable roof. You know you're going to play every night. That stuff like factors into my decision. The food in the locker room is really good. Like they cook really well there. So,
well, hey, after you make this next pick, I want to hear a little bit about the, because I've been hearing about this coffee situation. I want to know, is it you a French press guy? Are there specific, specific beans you got to go with? Because I'm really intrigued by this coffee, because I'm a big, like, I get it when I get into things, I get in deep. You know what I mean? Whether it's
exactly how I am.
Yeah. Like shoes, flashlights, like you whatever it ends up being, bourbon. Like I get in there. So I want to.
Yeah, the flashlights is real.
Some flashlights I got. They're sick. But anyway, I want to know, because this is like, for me, this is like skipping fast forward. Like you've done the research on the beans, you know.
So it's funny you said bourbon, because I'm really into bourbon too. But I feel like people who are into bourbon and coffee kind of goes hand in hand. But I just go through stages, like depending on the season. Like if it's really hot outside, I make my own cold brew at home. It's a labor of love. It takes like 18 hours of like sitting out and brewing, but it's worth it. I do AeroPress, French press, pour overs. Like I just kind of go through stages. I like having all the options available. Like this year during the season, I just went through a stage of making pots of coffee every morning, just like old school pots of coffee, so I can go fill it up throughout the day. This is a really tricky pick right here.
Yeah, take your time. Damn, so you're in on the coffee. I like that. So is there a particular brand, like if you had to pick, like if you were taking something on the road with you, taking a bag that you're going to be able to find like a pot to throw it in there, what would you go with?
So pretty much every city that we travel to, I've got a coffee shop. Like I take notes and I keep track of like every coffee shop around the league that I've ever been to and what I ordered and what I liked from there and stuff like that. So like I really like Blue Bottle. That's like a staple of mine. There's one in New York near me called Coffee Project that's really good. There's one in Milwaukee called Collectivo. But normally just anything like single origin from South America, like Central America, South America is kind of where I tend to be with my coffee profile.
That's awesome, man. Dude, so now I have to ask you, what kind of bourbons are you going for these days? You going with allocated stuff? I want something you can find on the shelf.
Okay, I got the easy answer for that. Russell's Reserve single barrel 10 year. That's like, I always have a bottle of it on hand. It's not, if you have a buddy over and they want to put it in a cocktail or put it with Coke, like I won't be mad. If you want to drink it neat, it's good enough to drink neat. I also always have like a special release Maker's Mark. Like I like weeded bourbons, so
yeah, like the FAEs or like I like the 46 barrel strength. That's the cask up there. Like you can't miss those. Okay, so if
people
you
always
like
talk about Maker's Mark or like it's just mainstream or whatever, and then the more I've gotten into bourbon, I'm like, holy shit, this stuff's actually really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like everyone loves the Buffalo Trace stuff, and obviously they have some amazing stuff, but there's so much more than just going for like the Pappies and all that. Yeah. In the chat here, somebody says, "What's your thought on Blanton's?"
It's good for like its actual price, and if you could find it, but I'm not gonna go like to a different state to go buy it and pay like 10 times what it's worth, but it's really good.
$65-$70, dude. That's it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
It's so good though. Have you tried a Whistle Pig?
I had that. So my brother, I swear, he is so obsessed with Whistle Pig that when I go to his house, it looks like he's like sponsored by them. Like he just has Whistle Pig bottles. That's like
so
his
interesting,
house stock. Yeah,
because that's up here. That's up this way. Almost all the bourbons down your way, Britt. In the Kentucky area mostly, obviously, but she's in Arkansas. Like so, Whistle Pig's up in Vermont. That's up my end. That's a rye too.
Well, candlepin bowling.
It was very special to get Whistle Pig, like you were saying about the Russells. I've never even heard of Russells down here, so it's
that's the Wild Turkey product. Jimmy named after Jimmy Russell there.
Okay.
Him and I get all the Russells are the ones that run run that company now, his sons and stuff. But yeah, Russell's Reserve is no joke, especially if you can get like a store pick or like you know any of those special ones.
Right there.
I got to get in on this bourbon stuff because I'm a gin guy. I can't help it.
Oh, I used to love gin,
like, look
and
for
then
Matt, like I just got this bottle of Martin Miller's. Matthew Berry sent it to me for doing work this year. Like I haven't been able to find that anywhere, but yeah, I got to do more bourbon. I got to do more stuff like that because I don't stray too much out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, we'll get you in there,
it's
man.
Like a fun hobby for us on the road. We'll go bourbon hunting on off days, like different cities, like you were just saying, like different cities have different things available. So we'll just go like walk around cities and check out what they have available. Like usually we won't even buy anything, but it's just fun to go look. We're weird, but
yeah. Hey, I mean, like up this way, I mean, like Whistle Pig, I feel like it's everywhere. So if that's what you're into when you come play the Sox, dude, see what you can find.
I've never gone hunting in Boston, so I'll definitely make sure I do that.
Yeah, I can send you a couple places. I've hit them all up around there. I mean, it depends how far you can get from the stadium, but I've got some spots up there, man, that are, you know, they're I don't want to give away all my honey holes, but I guess you're a guest on the pod, so I could help you out a little something.
That says a lot about your character if you're willing to share your spots.
Hey, you're coming on the show, dude. You're being a good sport, so I think I can help you. I can help you out with a little something.
Yeah, we're already through 7 rounds here. They upped this up to 20 rounds, so we're going to be getting a little deeper into the weeds here, in pretty short order, I will say. But yeah, looking at some teams here. Go ahead, Coop.
I was gonna say, why don't after your next pick, J-Bo, give us a little rundown on what you were thinking here with this lineup. Kev's got it up on the board there. You might be on your phone, but you can pull it up on your thing.
At this point, I don't really know what I'm doing because we're getting to the deeper parts. But I feel comfortable going with quarterbacks later in drafts. Like historically, I'm not as good at picking running backs, so like I panic when I don't have access to running backs early in drafts. I'm usually better at finding wide receivers, kind of laying in the weeds. But a lot of these guys are people that I've drafted before, and I have like a little bias. Like I've met James Conner before, and I really, really like him as a guy. Super nice dude. So like anytime he's available, I'll try to pick him. I usually just go best talent on the board or somewhere close to the top, unless like I really have a strong sense about somebody.
Speaking of draft pick, Coop.
What's up?
The draft pick you just made in Razzball.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to tell you. Jim, I picked you. So hey, I gotta ask. I picked you earlier today in an industry league, Razzball. Does that make you nervous? Like, are you gonna try a little harder, knowing that you're on the squad? Or
It does not make me nervous. I definitely want to do good by you and have a good year for you, but as long as you don't tweet at me and cuss me out if I have a bad start.
How many people actually do that? Is that like a very common thing?
More than you'd think. Like
that's,
and I mean, I get it. You know, people are emotional about their sports, so it doesn't really bother me as long as it's not like too personal. But I've had some starts before where I just immediately delete Twitter and Instagram off my phone. I'm like, I'm not looking for another month. Like, I don't even want to see what's on there. I had a start in Philadelphia this year. I didn't even make it out of the first inning. Got back to the locker room, and it's sad that like my brain works this way, but I was like, I'm just deleting Twitter. Don't even want to be tempted to go on there. It's gone. And I didn't open it for like 6 weeks, and then I ended up winning AL Pitcher of the Month the next month. So I was like, I'll download it again, but like I try to keep my distance from that stuff in season.
Yeah,
I did. I will say that when you did win Pitcher of the Month, I did tweet at San Diego Studios, who makes MLB The Show, and they did not give you a Player of the Month card. Not happy. I did tweet at them.
Wow.
Thank you. You've got my back.
Yeah, that's
I think they gave it to Joey Votto, actually.
It's okay.
Votto's a good dude, though.
Respect that. I got some Canadian blood in me. He's Canadian. Like, I'm good with it.
Votto's gotten plenty of cards, though. I bet. I mean, come on.
It's true.
Give our man a shout. You know, yeah. No, you're good, man. To be completely honest, fantasy baseball is something that I'm pretty much at this point doing against my will. So, but I do enjoy putting the squad together. I like having a team, and I'm glad that now I'm picking guys that I want to have on the team, and you fit the bill, man. So I'm rooting for you. Let's go.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm obviously not allowed to bet on baseball, and I get really nervous even about, like, I've been asked to be in like no money leagues, just fantasy leagues with my friends, and I'm like, I can't do it. And I used to love playing fantasy baseball, like when I was in high school, but I don't even want to be involved in doing anything fantasy or betting baseball wise. But I do miss the ability to pick a team, and I remember in high school that used to always make me follow guys a lot closer. And it's the same thing with like football. Whenever I have a team, it makes me a fan of that guy and that team for the year.
Yeah, but you got to just create like that shadow account, and then create a second shadow account where you can like tweet at like Luke Voigt if he goes like 0 for 4, and just be like, bro, I got you on my fantasy team.
You're really hurting my fantasy, man.
Like Gardy, come on, dude. Another 0 for 4?
Man.
You should do that. You should just create a shadow account and just razz your teammates when they go 0 for 4 with a bunch of Ks.
Some of the stuff that I get, it's like, man, why would you throw an 0-2 fastball down the middle? It's like, no shit. I'm not trying. Like, I am always trying my hardest. I promise.
Bro, you should really tweet. You should really start tweeting back. Be like, dude, I didn't even think of that, man.
Yeah.
Do you want to come work for the team? Do you want to come work for the team?
For letting me know.
We are looking for a new, assistant director of analytics.
Bro, I never would have thought of that. You want to come work for the Yankees?
All right, I have to say,
George Costanza.
Oh my god, I think I've forgotten that this is best ball and not dynasty because my last few picks have just been
all rookies.
Mm-hmm. I do this every single year.
Did you take Traylon Burks?
No.
Jay? Wow.
Somebody else got to Burks before me, and I'm extremely upset. I don't even know because I can't read that. Whoever did that, you're dead to me. No,
they're watching
kidding, but
they're also watching the stream, and you said you were going to take him. So I mean,
well, I know, but he had gone. His ADP had just like skyrocketed. Like he was the first rookie wide receiver on the board.
I love that Christian Kirk pick. I think that whatever team is going to pay for him is going to do so to have him on the field for the majority of plays.
Yep.
Super athletic, dude. I mean, I've watched my girlfriend's brother-in-law played on the Cardinals, so I started watching the Cardinals a lot. I was a fan of Christian Kirk, so really in-depth analytical pick there by me. Just if you pass my eye test, you can be on my team.
Feel that.
Christian Kirk's gonna come at and tweet at you now, like you had to take me there.
Yeah.
Put too much pressure.
He could end up on like the Bills. Like I'm trying to think of like landing spots.
If he was on the Bills, he would play. He would be the flanker in 2 wide receiver sets, and then move to slot in 3 wide receiver sets. I think he would. I think he's better than Gabriel Davis. I think Davis. I think they would run enough 3 wide receiver sets that it doesn't matter as much. But I think that Davis would be the guy that comes out for 2 wide receiver sets because I just think that Kirk is a better player, and they're the same age. And Kirk has just better. I mean, he's got better stats across the board. Gabriel Davis was worse this year than he was the year before. Everyone's really excited about 1 4-touchdown game, but clearly I'm not as fired up. Sorry, Britt. I know you're a Gabriel Davis fan.
No, I think that you hit it on the head. Like I am a fan of him, but as far as a consistent fantasy football asset, I'm not that excited about him. You know what I mean? Like if in best ball, sure. Like that works great. But I'm not excited to have him like on a season-long team, and even a dynasty team. I'm kind of wishy-washy on him too.
I mean, that's where these drafts are going to be. Like, I mean, doing these super early drafts, you can see just how reactionary people are to what just happened last month. Like I think I'm on St. Brown. If they get another wide receiver, if they get another piece there, I think he ends up falling a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
OBJ is a tough sell when you don't even know if he's even going to play 5-6 games, if that.
I just made a pick I'm making a lot of, and I think that I like it better, and I like grabbing it better in Dynasty because there's a chance that Daniel Jones really just isn't that good. But you look at this team, the Giants. They were in 2020. They were second to last in touchdowns. Last year, they were dead last in touchdowns. Like they can't continuously be this bad. If they're bottom 3 team in touchdowns again for the 3rd year in a row, it's going to be one of the worst stretches of any team in a long that I can remember. So I just think that they have to be. There's no way there can be as bad this year, and that speaks to your boy Barkley too. You know, it's like they can't continuously be this bad, can they? I mean, is it possible?
They can. Hold my beer.
I know, but this deep in the draft, I'm willing to take the guy they paid so much money to.
Yeah.
That's same with mine too, because I took Corey Davis.
I like DJ Chark too. Who's Kraft? Oh, is that
That's the I forget his.
Oh, that's Kraft. That's Billy and the Kraft.
Yep.
Yeah. He's a sharp player, man. So I like that pick a lot.
And then my buddy from back in Syracuse, Jeff, stole my heart and took Laviska Shenault, which, by the way, I'm still not quite off of that train yet.
I mean, man,
well,
I think
you heard the GM speak. Like he's still got so much left in the tank, right?
That's the 2022 offseason bingo card right there. Like the write up with Rondale Moore is going to get touches in space.
I mean, if we're talking about the Jameson Taillon eye test here, I mean, like I think he's the closest to like Deebo Samuel that you see in terms of like guys that are tough, don't go down, like, and that's why he's probably gotten hurt so much. Is that this guy is he's a baller, man. He does not want to go out of bounds. He does not want to go down. He's aggressive.
That's why I really was disappointed after, ETN went down last season. I really had high hopes for Visca because I was like, oh, they're going to put him in that ETN role. Like he's going to do the thing, blah, 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 blah. And it just never happened. And like every game you were just like, is this going to be the game? Is this going to be the game? And then it never happened. And it was just so disappointing. So fingers crossed, we'll actually get to see that a little bit of it this year.
I wanted it to happen. I was rooting for it to happen.
All right. I'm trying to find a way to get this draft board up here in just a second. Not the one from the off season or the August draft last August in the clubhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Also, side note, can we talk about when Will Fuller became William Fuller? Like when and why did that happen? No, I have noticed it, but I just haven't talked about it.
I believe it's witness protection because people are so scared of drafting him if he was Will Fuller that he was going to break something. So
yeah.
Will Fuller used to do steroids, but William Fuller.
William Fuller is a stand-up bro.
Yeah.
What do you say, Joe?
He's just rebranding himself.
Smart.
Sometimes that's all that's all he can do.
The weirdest one was last year, Janoris Jenkins, right? He
Jackrabbit.
He changed his name like in the program and stuff to Jackrabbit, which is badass, no question. But I mean,
it's just the connotation of Jackrabbit.
I just want to know what's on his driver's license. Like if it says Jackrabbit, that's awesome. If he's just doing it for show, then that's just an Ocho Cinco move.
Well, I mean, Ocho Cinco actually like legally changed his name.
Well, I guess then the Ocho Cinco move would be to show us your driver's license. So if you end up seeing this, I want to see it, Janoris or Jackrabbit, whatever you go by, whatever you prefer.
Julio Jones at 11-11, JMO.
Yeah, that's just another one of those, like, he's been so good, like, pretty recently that I don't know if he'll ever get back to that, but for me at this point, like, it's worth taking a shot.
I mean, dude,
He's been the eye test lifetime achievement award winner.
Exactly.
Julio Jones.
right. I'm telling you though, like I'm with you on that. If he didn't have that 120 something yard game last year, I wouldn't be there. But because he did, I'm like,
can he maybe do it again? I don't know.
It's like I seen it. I just seen it. You know.
Well, and how do y'all feel too? Like with Tannehill's like 3 interception game in the playoffs, if he gets an upgraded quarterback, I feel like he's going to be a lot better option than he was last season too.
Vrabel is I think Vrabel is one of the he's like a crazy dude. You know what I mean? Like he comes from the Belichick tree, but he's very confident in himself. And I feel like if anybody can swing some sort of crazy trade, it would be that guy. And I wouldn't be surprised if he just convinced everybody to give him their quarterback, you know?
Yeah. Well, and maybe Tannehill had a down year because he did well the year before, but he was another one who we can say that was streaky. Like he finished as quarterback 12, but there were certain games where he finished with 9 points, so you just, it wasn't a quarterback that you could rely on. And that hurt a bunch of the fantasy assets on his team.
I took Tannehill in some DFS stuff a couple times this year where it was he's so cheap and I think he's a polished, safe bet, and then it would just never pay off for me. But he was if I lost in DFS this year, he was on my roster a decent amount.
I mean,
so
it's rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, I love Tannehill going into last preseason because of what you said, Coop, the rushing touchdown upside. They brought Julio in, and I'm like, Tannehill to the moon, he's gonna kill it. And then it was just
he killed your fantasy team.
Yeah, a little. I don't know. I won the eliminator with him, so
eat it, Kev.
I had the what's that?
When she said so, I said so. Eat it, Kev.
Yeah. What the hell? All right. Oh man. Fine. I'll bite.
So I'm
he can be the MVS. William Fuller can be the MVS. He can win. He can give me 3 spike weeks, and I'll be fine with it.
So it says William. Did it used to say because he used to be Will Fuller the 4th?
Will Fuller the 4th.
5th or 4th?
I think it was 4th. I thought it was 4th.
Well, he's gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, getting hurt.
Now he's just reclaimed. Now he's just William Fuller the 1st.
He couldn't, get his name changed to the 6th, so he had to go to William. That's it.
Kind of a power move. Got to move him up a little bit.
Wild.
All right. Apparently, all I'm taking is CMC and rookie running backs.
I was just looking at your team.
So I'm going to continue that.
Welcome to the rookie club, Kev.
I mean, it was either him or I think
Rashad White's good.
I have Wall or Breece Hall, Williams, and White. So if I can get somebody that at least is an RB2 next to CMC, who let's hope he plays 12 or plus games.
This running back class is so deep. I've thought about it, and I'm like, where is everybody going to go? And who actually needs that much running back help? Because it seems like, aside from free agency, that everybody kind of has their starting running back kind of ingrained in their system. So this draft class is going to be super, super, super interesting.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had to complete the Mac Jones Hunter Henry stack. Let's go.
Ooh.
To the hen house.
That'd be good for one touchdown to one Mac Jones passing touchdown to Hunter Henry every once in a while. Not bad.
The Henry tight end farm.
Right.
By the way, I was looking on. I'm going to switch this. Well, they changed Joe Burrow's picture to the one where he's wearing the black shirt, the grit, and the chain.
That's part of why I took him.
on his Wikipedia.
Grip,
on his
no,
Wikipedia
on his Underdog in the picture. If you go to the roster on the right hand side, Everybody has their like headshot, and Burrow has that picture. That's a
You
power
can't-
move.
You can't ignore the Burrow drip, man.
Yeah, he's got that. He's got such a strange swagger, you know.
I mean, I love
Oh.
Burrow. I mean, I was talking him up pretty much everywhere I could. Whatever microphone they'd shove in front of me, I'd talk about Joe Burrow or T. Higgins. But I just don't know if I can take him in the 5th round or 6th round this year. It's a tough proposition for me.
Yeah, I took him, and it would have been definitely easier to take him if I had Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. Taking him without those guys on my team, I don't know if that's something I would actually look to do as we get closer to the season.
It's just crazy that it's like, okay, we think about Mahomes, right? Mahomes doesn't really run any more than anybody else. You know what I mean? But like, he was this crazy guy. Like Joe Burrow comes out, throws 60 touchdowns in college football, wins the Heisman, wins the national championship, wins the Super Bowl. It's like, what more does he have to do for us to be like, I'll take him in the 5th? You know, like I think that his ADP right now is probably right about where a guy that's thrown a gazillion balls into the end zone for points should go, you know, at how old? 25, 24.
Yeah.
Like I'm for it.
I mean, I'm just looking at guys that are like with the rushing upside, like a Lamar, like a Kyler Murray, guys like that, where, you know, at least they have that to fall back on. I mean, Joe Burrow has to, repeat that kind of efficiency. And hopefully that, you know, like we saw in the beginning of the season with Cincinnati, they were so run heavy. And they were running on like every single script.
I
Like,
get
even
it.
when they were down, they were running way above expectation when
But it's
they
like,
were down.
why do we like? Why does Joe Burrow have to go that far after, you know, Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert? You know what I mean? Like, why isn't he right there?
It's the whole narrative about his knee and his offensive line and his team, and the Bengals have been such underdogs to begin with. I think that really plays into that recency bias. I don't know.
And then
The
you look,
offensive
and then you
line-
look at a guy. God,
Dude, yo, Billy and the Crav, I'm banning him from all future underdogs. I just realized now that he took Evan Ingram, dude. Yo, you are super banned from all future events. I can't believe we snuck him in here too. Unbelievable.
that was you.
I know. I snuck him in here, you know. Well, he's one of my followers, so I guess that's probably my fault then. But yeah, that's my
Maybe you should stop giving such good advice, Coop.
I mean, drafting Evan Ingram's been pretty bad advice for, you know, so maybe I'm just tricking everybody. So, okay. But yeah, I mean, JMO, that's my guy. That's the guy that I am pot committed on. I truly think that he's a good athlete and a good player. And I think when he lands somewhere this year, he's going to be better. So Evan Ingram, that's the late round tight end from me, my advice.
Definitely, again, I'm going to go back to the eye test. Evan Ingram is one of those tight ends who looks like he could play in the NBA. He's fast. He can jump. He's strong. I mean, he passes the eye test. Like, I definitely get it. I'd be curious to see him in offense. But I don't know how high I'd be willing to go for him, but it'll be interesting to see.
Kev, this guy you brought on our pod, I like him. I like his attitude. I like what you said about the NBA and looking good. The end part where you said you weren't so high about where you would take him. Not sure I love that part, but the rest of
maybe if I listen to you a little bit more, like you could convince me. Maybe I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, this guy, like when you look at his best comparable players on like sites like Player Profiler, there's no tight ends that are truly comparable in terms of size, speed, athleticism. Like the most comparable guys are like Andre Johnson, like Demaryius Thomas, rest in peace. Like Demaryius Thomas was 6'3", 230, and he ran a 4.4 3. And Evan Ingram is 6'3", 234, ran a 4.42. I mean, it's like, why is he even putting his hand in the dirt is my question. Like this guy should be playing big slot. He should be playing split end. And I think that if he goes to another team, that's a possibility. So that's why I like the upside. The downside, obviously, is that I don't think there's no tight end in the league that's dropped more passes over the last 3 or 4 years than this player. He might just not be good at catching the football, which I'm willing to bet that he can figure it out. You know, Jimmy Graham dropped 15 passes from Drew Brees in one season. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes you don't catch the ball. What do you want me to do?
Well, and I think a lot of it too had to do with the fact that like Jason Garrett was trying to use Ingram as like that Jason Witten type of tight end, and Ingram wasn't comfortable like running those routes and making those quick turns and those situations. Like I watched Ingram at Auburn, and he was a killer. Like he can catch footballs. I think if he gets in a different system, then he's going to absolutely kill it. And I'm kind of excited.
I mean, I've seen him make one-handed catches that, you know, guys like Max Williams couldn't even dream of making. Like their brains couldn't even comprehend making these catches. But, you know, Max Williams has dropped less passes. So it's like, you know, nobody gives him, you know, talks trash about him. But I mean, I've seen George Kittle drop a ton of passes, dropped 8 in 8 games the year before last. So for me, I'm just, you know, I'm in.
I think it's interesting to think about, like in baseball, sometimes some of the best defensive players make a lot of errors because they're just getting the balls that other players don't get to. Their range is superior, or they have like really strong arms, and every once in a while they'll like airmail one, but they can impact a game by being that dynamic. And I think maybe in football sometimes it's the same thing. Like you get a guy that's that athletic who can get to balls that other guys might not be able to, or whatever it is. Like sometimes the drops are, it's not like he's just wide open, letting it hit off his face mask or anything, you know?
That's a great point, because the guys that typically lead the league in drops, just in volume, are those guys, JMO. Like the guys you're describing, that like you only throw them those passes because you're like only Tyreek Hill can catch this. You know what I mean?
Right,
So,
right.
and then they get their hands on it, where other guys probably wouldn't even get their hands on it. They gets his hands on it, and now it's a drop. So I get what you're saying. That it's like, you know, I bet a guy like Jackie Bradley probably has a decent number of drops, but he's also trying. You know, he's bouncing off the wall.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he's running into the wall when other players are watching the ball hit off the wall. Like,
Right. So,
man,
interesting take. I kind of like that. I think I'm gonna steal that and use that as another Evan Ingram point. One of my
I don't
100.
even some of these players anymore this deep in the draft. I got to be honest.
Well, there's a bunch of rookies. And once you get down to this point, like Trey McBride, that guy's a rookie. So nobody knows who that guy is really. Especially as a tight end, you know, like a bunch of these guys. Anybody that doesn't have the name, doesn't have a team assigned next to him is going to be rookies. So there's a bunch of weird guys down in this part of.
Yeah, I mean, doing these drafts now, this is kind of where you get your edge on those rookies, because once they get drafted and get their landing spot, you know, like if like Breece Hall goes like to the running back goes like to the Dolphins or something, like he's probably going to be like a fourth, or you know, probably even earlier. Like this is where you can kind of get an edge on some of these guys, and you know, hopefully they land in a good spot, or then you can be like me last year that took Kenny Gainwell in like the 7th round everywhere, and he ends up in Philly being Boston Scott Light. So
Do you all watch a ton of college football, or are you guys more focused?
Britt does.
Sorry, I have to say, I just got my guy, and I'm so excited about it.
Oh, Lord.
Tell us about this guy, because I don't watch a ton of college football. I get more into it now, but Britt does.
I really don't either. Like I live in
Shameless
North Dakota, so I watch like NDSU. That's pretty much what I get.
Well, so Mechie was Jameson Williams' wide receiver 2 in Alabama. And in the game that Jameson Williams got tossed for a personal foul, Mechie just absolutely killed it. He's always lived in Jameson Williams' shadow, but he is a good damn receiver. And he's going so late in the draft. Like, he's straight money. And I'm so excited about it.
So I'm going to take, I don't get too much in the rookies until we get closer to the combine draft, but I'm actually going to take one that I do like. And I like him because I think that he'd be a good fit for my Patriots. This guy here, Christian Watson.
You're son of a bitch.
You know much about that guy?
He went to NDSU. He's 6'4". He's like 215.
Yeah, 6'4". So we have a bunch of smaller guys. You know, they can play slot, can play flanker. N'Keal Harry just didn't pan out. So if we can get a guy that can truly play split end, play with his foot tethered to the line, Christian Watson, man, if he'd come in and ball, that'd be great. So I do like him. I like him in the Pats. Sorry, Kev.
Bad times. It's all right. He'll be a Washington Commander and go the way of Cam Sims.
You don't say
Oh,
that.
rip.
No, I can't say. I got a window here. You know,
Kelvin Harmon.
I'm in the shadow of the Carson Wentz statue here in Fargo, so I can't really say much.
So, Coop, how do you feel about like if this does somehow come to fruition, like a Treylon Burks or like a Garrett Wilson or a Drake London or somebody going to the Patriots? Do you think that the Patriots are going to draft a wide receiver high, or do you think they're going to wait for some kind of value?
So we've had such a bad history of drafting wide receivers that it always scares me. I mean, we usually don't draft them high, but when we have, it's been guys like Harry, Chad Jackson in the second round he was good in Madden. He was good in Madden that one year.
Bethel Johnson.
Fast. Yeah, it's just it's been kind of ugly, man, for my boys. So I'm just such like an old school real football fan that like for all my fantasy stuff, I want all the guys to go early, like running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, but I want the Patriots to draft like linemen. You know what I mean? I want us to draft like edge rushers. So, if we take somebody, I hope it is a guy like Christian Watson where we can get him in the second or third round and it's not our first round pick. Like I understand the value of the fifth round option and all that, but to me, I'm scared. That's the bottom line.
JMO, I will say, like Myles Gaskin in the 16th round, like there's a real possibility that if Miami does not draft a running back and he is still, maybe not quite the guy, but still going to get about 180 to 200 carries. Like that in the 16th round is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Let me
170 carries last year, 50 receptions. Like even if he doesn't get that much volume, it's still a solid pickup that late in the draft. In my eyes.
Well, let me ask you guys, because I was on the fence between him and Ronald Jones. I took Ronald Jones. Did you guys like Gaskin or Ronald Jones? Kevin Britt.
I was looking at Ronald too earlier. That was the exact same.
Right. I would have been happy with either one. What do you guys think?
I think that Tampa lets Ronald Jones walk, and that to me makes me a little more wary about drafting him until I figure out where he's going to land. And right now, Gaskin could end up being the RB2 on the Dolphins. So I'm marginally leaning Gaskin, but either one scare me, to be totally honest.
Like, I think Gaskin could be similar to like a Marlon Mack, where if they bring somebody in, Gaskin can still be like that kind of guy for the first part of the year. And maybe something happens where, maybe the running back they draft doesn't pick it up and he can still find his way into all those touches. Ronald Jones, I don't think there's a scenario in the NFL where he can be picked up by somebody with even half of a role. Like I think it's half at best. Like if he goes to like Atlanta and splits with like Cordell Patterson or something like that, like that's where he's going to go. He's going to go in that. I mean, where
Patterson's a free agent too, though.
Well, right. But yeah, that's true. I mean, just, if they bring in maybe they bring in a couple running backs or something. I just don't think there's a scenario where Ronald Jones is going to come in and then we're going to be super excited about where he lands, because likely it's going to be some type of committee.
Right. And the biggest issue with him is the pass blocking, and those schemes can be complicated. So whatever team brings him in better have the classic man-on-man type scheme, because he clearly had some issues with that. And teams really don't like that. They truly don't. That's why Philip Lindsay ended up the way he was, because Lindsay was a good runner, and it just couldn't figure out the pass blocking schemes. And some guys are just, they're just not gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, JMO, you could speak to this. There are guys, professional athletes run the gamut. There are guys that are way smarter than other guys. There are guys that are insanely, like, there's a kid that I played with that wasn't that smart in high school, but when it came to football, this kid was a genius and his instincts were off the level and his football IQ was nuts. You know what I mean? Anthony Sherman played with the Chiefs, and like it was just, one of those things where, you couldn't possibly trick this kid when it comes to football. But with other things, it was what it was. But it's just crazy to think, like, I'm sure it's like that with baseball too, is it not?
Yeah, it's interesting with baseball. Like, I'm not sure how the inner workings of football go because I've never played, but like, there's guys on my team who I'm like, this dude is already a good Major League Baseball player, but like, I would bet that he can find a way to get better and improve. And those are the guys that you want to bet on, and those are the guys that, like, if I'm a general manager, a team owner, like, I want to invest in those types of players. And then there's other guys where you're like, guys I played with in the minor leagues or whatever, you're like, this guy has peaked. He's not really curious to see how good he could be. Maybe the passion's not quite there. Maybe he's just not curious about how good he could get. So yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, like in the NFL or MLB, like everyone's extremely talented. If you put everyone on a field together and just watch them, like watch all these football players do their thing, like everyone's talented, whether you're a first rounder or whatever. And that's where like your mental attributes can really set you apart. And like some people are just better at the game than others. It's weird to say, but
right. Well, I'm telling you right now, if I'm judging character and I'm going to an interview and I find out the guy is taking meticulous notes about things like coffee and he's cares that much about improving his coffee game, then I know that he's going to care enough about improving his baseball game too.
If I write notes on coffee, I'm going to write notes on
right.
Get it percolating.
Yeah, that's going to be after this. That's going to be a question at the combine now, right? At the combine, the coaches are going to be like, "Tell me a little bit. Tell me something that you've taken meticulous notes on."
How do you take your coffee?
We had a Korean guy that I played with, and he had a translator who got me into coffee. He would make these pour over coffees in the locker room, and as a starting pitcher, I only pitch every 5th day, so I'd like have some time to be like, "Hey, what are you up to in there? Like, can I try that?" And he had a notepad full of like brewing temperature, how hot the water was, like tasting notes of coffee, what region it was, how dark it was roasted. Like, so that's maybe where I got some of it from. I had someone really show me the ropes. And then he would take me on the road to some of his coffee shops and we'd start exchanging notes on places we'd go and stuff. But I feel like for something like coffee, it takes like someone to really get you into it and show you the ropes, and then it's all over from there.
So were you like, did it take you a while to get into coffee, or like as soon as you tried it, were you just like, I love coffee? Because some people, it takes a little while.
Yeah. So I didn't really drink until I remember being in AA, and our travel schedule in the minor leagues was terrible. A lot of early mornings, late nights, bus rides. And I was like at a diner one time and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this coffee stuff. Like, I'm struggling. I need to pick up. And I didn't know what to judge it against. So I was like, this coffee's good. And then I tried like Panera Bread coffee. Oh, this is way better than what I had the other day. And then I tried Starbucks and I was like, oh, that's way better than what I had the other day. And then it kept like building from there. I just got curious, like how good coffee can get. But yeah, it was just like a steady little growth thing for me. And then on road trips for us too, like we have a lot of downtime in the mornings. Like I go to the field when we're on a road trip at like 2:00 in the afternoon. So I have all morning just to kill time and coffee for me.
How cool is that that experience in Iowa, the Field of Dreams game?
It was freaking cool. It was cool. We ended up losing on a walk-off, but like,
yeah, Tim Anderson, don't get me started on that.
Yeah, that was just my girlfriend's whole mom side of the family is from that part of Iowa too. So like for them to get to go to that game and share that moment with her family and walking out of the cornfield was like one of those just chills even thinking about it moments. We were literally just in the middle of a cornfield playing a baseball game. It was pretty cool.
That is awesome.
So is Field of Dreams like one of your favorite movies? Because I know that it is for me personally. So I really enjoyed the fact that they played a game in the Field of Dreams field, but
I want them to make like a Sandlot game or something. Like Sandlot's my favorite baseball.
Yes.
There is something like baseball movies hit a little different. They've got some pretty good ones. Yeah, I'd say Field of Dreams, For the Love of the Game, Sandlot, Bull Durham, like A League of Their Own. The Natural. Man, there's some good ones.
Yeah, there is.
Well, yeah, but what about Remember the Titans, though? I mean,
classic.
The
great thing about Titans is that substitute teachers, like in my high school, would always play Remember the Titans whenever our teacher was out of the room or whatever. So that's got a soft spot in my heart because it got me out of a lot of schoolwork.
We actually, quick story, we actually had, because our town's right next to Foxborough, when We Are Marshall came out, Troy Brown was with the Patriots. He had gone to Marshall, and he asked Foxborough, there were two other good teams, us and Mansfield. He asked them what team they wanted to bring to go see the movie. And because they played Foxborough plays Mansfield on Thanksgiving, they picked us. So we got to leave school and go watch that movie with Troy Brown when I was in high school. So
that's really cool. That's a cool gesture.
It was cool. He got up there and talked about it, like, just a great guy, really, Troy Brown. And I mean, anybody in the New England area knows him as that. He was not a Hall of Famer, but he's a Patriots Hall of Famer day one when he retired. So that kind of guy.
It took 10 wide receivers. I didn't even notice that. That seems like a lot.
Yeah. I wanted to throw one last football thing out, dude. Brian Drake, man. I do like the Davis Mills pick this deep, man. I don't know about you guys, but he had a couple 300-yard games, a couple 3-touchdown games, throwing to nobody on a skeleton crew. I mean, this deep, it's, you're not really getting a lot of startable games out of people. So I like that pick a lot. So yeah, Brian Drake. But Drake he's a fantasy analyst, so having him in the draft is kind of cheating.
Totally cheating.
Right. So yeah, Drake, good pick.
Yeah. There go all my quarterbacks. I was going to take a third quarterback. I waited a little too long to do that. Yeah, we're almost
why don't you grab like a Sam Howell or like a Kenny Pickett?
To Corral, why not?
Corral, there you go. Did we finish the draft?
Draft's over. Draft is Mr. Irrelevant here. So yeah, going through like.
Oh, a Trubisky.
Was he the last pick?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been heating up, the Trubisky zone. So
I thought about it. So yeah, I'm looking at. Let me share this here because I'm a noob when it comes to this stuff too. So Underdog Fantasy completed. Here we go. Yeah, so I mean, Joe Burrow, Derek Carr, he got the Cincinnati stack going with at least Mixon, who hopefully should get some more receiving work. Aaron Jones, James Conner, Patterson, Gaskin. Mm-hmm. I mean, veteran core running backs, but definitely like that group.
It's a long list of wide receivers there.
Well, you did what you were supposed to at this time of year with the running backs. You took two guys that we saw play really well and are both free agents. Like, no one's going to pay James Conner and Cordell Patterson to not carry the football. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, you have to pay up for those guys now, and you're going to use them. So,
yeah. Then Adams, Moore, Ayuk, Kirk, Julio, if he can bounce back. Curtis Samuel, I mean, he's just a year off of Washington paying him, and pretty much it was a lost season for him last season. So people probably sleeping on him a lot more than they should. I do like that pick.
And he played for Ron Rivera before, like he's already played for this coach. So it's not like he hasn't played for this guy.
Well, and Washington is shooting their shot trying to get quarterbacks. Like, they're trying to get an elite quarterback into Washington, like apparently reaching out to Kansas City about Mahomes, apparently reaching out to the Bills for Josh Allen. They're fully committed on trying to get an elite quarterback. And if they land even a mid-tier quarterback, I think Samuel will be amazing.
Don't love my tight end situation, but what are you going to do? Knox at least has Josh Allen throwing him the ball, so that helps.
Yeah, I mean, you get the right combination of touchdowns every other week or whatever. These are the kind of guys that, that's how the way it works. I would have liked to see one more tight end rather than Aguilar or Edwards. That's the only complaint I would say is these guys are both touchdown dependent guys. If you could sneak in like a Logan Thomas or somebody who just is going to catch at least a couple balls a game, Cole Kmet or somebody like that. But I mean,
yeah, that Aguilar pick I think the game sped up on me a little bit. I got rattled and I just picked two of those.
I mean, not to mention though, it's like to do a draft like this time of year, while also talking about coffee, talking about bourbon, talking about why Luke Voigt is like allergic to wearing all the buttons on his shirt. You know, things like that.
Hey,
Most,
was that ripped?
most. What'd you say?
If I was that ripped, I might do the same thing. But I keep mine real buttoned up.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, he's pretty. If you have the traps to have the,
Yeah,
his
Let him
necklace
eat,
that's
you know.
up near his ears. Yeah. So, yeah,
Just
but I
let
mean,
it
like
eat.
to do that with this draft, man, I think you kind of crushed it. So, good work, man.
Yeah, man.
Thanks,
We'll
guys. I'll be reaching out probably in like August again for some more Yankees fantasy league advice.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And let's just hope there's a season, man, so we can actually get that league going in the clubhouse, and we'll see what happens with that. But JMO, man, I know, like I said, I know it's a couple years in the making, but so glad we could get to connect with you again. And obviously we'll be in touch throughout the off season. Maybe we'll get you on for another draft at some point here as it gets closer, maybe to the season.
For sure. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to hop on out of here. And again, if you haven't gone on Underdog, use code Lightning. You will get a match on your deposit up to $100. So we're going to hop on out of here. We will see you next week. And have Brian Drake, who was in this draft. We're going to be talking some more fantasy. So make sure you guys are subscribed, and we will be out of here. See you guys later, and see you next